they did it really well. They shut down the airport only a few days after the first case was confirmed. So we didn't have that many cases actually imported.
The situation here, maybe it's not as bad as in some other countries. Of course, we still have our own cases. And when we got the first few cases in March, the government reacted quite quickly and decided to close down the schools, restaurants, bars, public gatherings, and implemented, like all other countries, social distancing measures.
We never went on full lockdown. Most companies in Malta those who could have encouraged their employees and have set up ways to work from home, including where I work. We're all working from home at the moment.
Lately, non-essential businesses have been allowed to reopen, and there is some precautions. I think it is there's a certain amount of people per square meter that are allowed in the stores, and you have to disinfect your hands and wear a face mask at all times. And since last Friday, restaurants have been also allowed to reopen under circumstances.
I'm more worried about my parents' health and so on. But the way things are in Malta right now, I feel relatively safe. I'm still going to take precautions. I'm still going to be wearing a mask if I go shopping. I'm not going to organize a party for 100 people, you know.
The biggest impact is more trying to adjust this new situation. So everyone is at home. That's also difficult sometimes, being at home all the time with the family when usually everyone is used to going to work, going to school. So there's that. And from myself, trying to study online is obviously different than going to university, having contact with the professors and with my friends at university. In a way, of course, we're lucky that we still have this option to continue studying and have the chance to actually do it online, but it's not the same as doing it in the campus.
I've been pretty busy because I was writing on my bachelor thesis, and I have a lot of assignments to write now because exams got cancelled, so we have to write a lot of assignments. I've just been really, really busy doing that, so it wasn't too bad for me to just stay home and focus on doing that.
I never encountered anything like it, so I wasn't sure how to feel, but I could only follow the directives given and do what I could to do my part, so to say. I haven't really been scared of myself. Of course, I've been scared of those I know and others that might be getting the virus, or so to say. I really don't know yet how this has impacted my life. It's a bit too early to say, but it for sure has impacted my life.
If we want to be a union, we should also fight this together more than the separate countries trying to get their own disaster regulated somehow. So I think we could have somehow found better options of being more of a solidarity and doing it together. On the other hand, that's also really tough because countries have been hit to such different extents and at different times too. So I don't know if it would really be possible to do that.
The EU only has limited competence when it comes to health. So it's mostly about sharing of good practices, etc. So the EU as such didn't have the legal mandate to be able to do much. I'd like to think that economically speaking, they've made the right first steps anyway, to make sure that the economy is not completely and utterly obliterated. When it comes to travel, unfortunately, again, it seems like the actions there are quite uncoordinated between countries. What I would like to see is a coordinated plan throughout all of the European Union regarding the reopening of internal borders. I'm very frustrated that internal borders were closed in the first place.
The EU is made up of 27 different countries, and they each have their own different systems. So the economies are different. Some are stronger than others. Some might be able to deal with this crisis better by themselves, and maybe they don't need as much help. And I think it was also reflected in the amounts which were given to each member state. But the main issue here, I think, is that the EU just was not prepared for something like that.
We're seeing a lot of solidarity initiatives, and member states are coming together, treating patients from from around member states, and the member states are also helping each other out with medical equipment. In general, I think that the EU has acted very comprehensive in its response and under its capabilities.
My worry is that more and more countries will, or rather more and more people will begin to fear the other and the outsider, etc., which really saw a lot of that at the beginning of the crisis, and then we saw a bit more solidarity, then back to, the way that many Chinese people, for example, or Italians were treated. So on the one hand, I worry that we're going to see a rise in nationalism and anti-EU sentiment, but on the other hand, there are many stories of solidarity throughout the European Union. They're currently being drowned out by the voices of those nationalist people. These stories of solidarity need to be pushed further. It might seem like propaganda, I suppose, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of fake news out there that needs to be combated in some way, and the truth is one way to do that.
A lot of people have lost the trust a bit in the EU, and especially with the borders now being closed, it really feels like it's every member state for themselves. Maybe it's going to be kind of like a bit of tension between the richer states and those which have been struggling more. That's always a bit of an issue because, for example, when there was the 2008 crisis, we saw that there was tension between the member states, and that's when the EU was really kind of fragile.
I think that life is going to go back to, the borders are going to reopen, I think, for sure. We're going to have free traveling in the EU again, because that's such an important part of the EU. I don't think they can take that away if they want to keep the union. But I think that's just everything's going to be a bit more careful. And there's definitely going to be more measures, more restrictions. Travel's going to get more expensive, I think. But that really depends on how we're going to act in the coming weeks and months.
The EU, after this situation, how it will look like, it's really hard to tell because the uncertainties are still very huge. If there will be a second wave or what will happen, because nobody has been in this situation before. The only thing I can hope for the future is that whatever has been learned during this crisis will be reflected upon in the future of the EU.